Mindwarp brings the trial of the Time Lord to its halfway point, and it's the final story to star Nicola Bryant as Perp Gillian Brown. She's not one of my favourite companions, never really developing much beyond the whimpering peril monkey that she started out as, and seemed to be there merely as eye candy for all the dads watching. No disrespect to Nicola Bryant, I'm sure she did her best, she was just never given anything decent to work with. The first trial scene is an immediate improvement over last time, as the Inquisitor calls out the Doctor for calling the Valeyard silly names, and the Valeyard starts calling her sagacity, which is almost as annoying. But the trial does start to take a more serious tone here, with the Doctor confronted by evidence that he behaved terribly, that he can't refute because he has no memory of it, which is a nightmare scenario for anyone, so you can certainly sympathise with him. The main story takes place on Thoros Beta, a planet made up of bright neon colours, all pink oceans and green skies. It's a bit garish, but it helps look much more alien than the wet beach that it was in real life. Most of it takes place underground, in some very impressive sets that look a lot better than usual. Nabil Shaban returns as Syl from Vengeance on Varos. It turns out that this is his home planet, though we only see two of the mentors, so it feels a bit small. More like an isolated base than the hub of their civilization. Syl is still as entertaining as ever, while Christopher Ryan as Cave plays it more or less straight, which is probably wise as he was always the least funny member of the young ones. The first episode has the Doctor and Perry continuing their cosy relationship from the last story, so that makes 5 episodes where they were allowed to be happy. After that, he behaves extremely erratically for the rest of the story. It could be that his brain is fried after having a mind probe at the end of part 1, or he could just be faking it to gain the trust of the mentors and turn the tables on them at the end, or alternatively, the Matrix could be fabricating everything. The fact that everyone keeps insisting that the Matrix cannot be falsified indicates that that's probably what's happening, but we never get to find out exactly which scenes that applies to. Colin Baker mentions in the extras that he couldn't get a straight answer about what was going on from the writers or producers, and it's a major flaw in an otherwise above average production. Seeing the Doctor working with the mentors and torturing Perry is very unpleasant, and it would have been far more effective if they'd explained it all at the end. Brian Bliss's performance as King Yukanos is possibly one of the most memorable in Doctor Who history. He gives 100% in every scene and is always electrifying to watch, trilling and shouting and chanting his war songs. He also shows his tender side in his relationship with Dorf, who has been transformed into some sort of rat man with a dirty face and jagged teeth. I think he's meant to be a werewolf, but frankly he looks nothing like a wolf. There is also a nice scene where he bonds with Perry, with a soft romantic soundtrack playing in the background. This does mean that the retcon where they end up together doesn't come completely out of nowhere, but it still seems a very unlikely outcome. Technically I shouldn't even be talking about it yet, as it doesn't happen until the finale, but it's all one long story, so why not? The actual ending is probably the most shocking end to a Doctor Who story since Cedric died in Earthshock. By part 4, the Doctor has come to his senses and seems to be more like his normal self, rallying the rebels to fight against the mentors, but then the Time Lords take him away for the trial before he can accomplish anything. Meanwhile, Perry's brain has been replaced with that of Kiv, and Nicola Bryant gives a chilling performance as the alien-possessed Perry, looking and sounding very different to usual. It's a great showcase for her talents, though judging by her subsequent career, it didn't do much to help her out. Yukanos then bursts into the room and kills everyone, Perry included. It's a really dark way to end the story. The hero is wedged away and everyone else ends up dead. Roll credits. At the time, this was absolutely shocking, a real gut punch of an ending, and if they stuck with it, it would have been one of the greatest moments the show has ever had. Unfortunately, it all gets retconned away later, so none of it counts, which is a real shame and just leaves you not knowing what to think about the whole story. The DVD has 50 minutes of extra features, a 20-minute making of the writer Philip Martin, telling how John Nathan Turner ordered him to kill off Perry, and we get Brian Blessed on very entertaining form, giving his memories of the production, and taking every opportunity to say, "Gordon's alive!" several times over. There's 9 minutes of deleted scenes, most of which are just more trial interruptions. A 21-minute Now and Then looks at the history of Doctor Who location filming, before showing behind the scenes of the beach scenes in this story, and also the pottery which features in the finale. A Fate Worse Than Death has Colin and Nicola commenting on the end of the trial, where it is revealed that Perry married Yukanos, and both of them prefer the original ending, as do I. And there's also the Children in Need and Lenny Henry sketches, which I already covered when I reviewed the Season 22 Blu-ray extras a few weeks ago. Overall, this is probably the high point of the trial season, with some memorable performances and a shocking ending, but it suffers from never explaining which parts really happened. I'll give it 7 out of 10. Next week, Terror of the Vervoids. I think that wasn't too bad either, apart from Bonnie Langford, of course. Subscribe if you want to see what I think of that, and I'll see you next time.